to live by. I'm your host, Professor Harbinger, and this is Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4 is one of my favorite games for the PlayStation 3 and 4, and I'm playing it on the PlayStation 4 for the first time. I've played it on 3. And yeah, I thought I'd give it another run through and a look through, and hopefully give some entertaining commentary on, well, the Luke Skywalker effect and the hero's journey.
Mr. Gale, this is Chet Peterson from the U.S. Embassy here in Patna. I'm calling you pursuant to the application for a tourist visa for India with further travel to Karat. We can only accept your status as a U.S. citizen as we have no official records regarding your Karate citizenship. Furthermore, I must legally advise you against traveling into Karat. We have no official diplomatic presence in Karat due to the civil unrest with the Golden Path. In regards to your intent to bring with you the cremated remains of one Ishwari Gale, you'll need to bring
And that is a beautiful set of efficient exposition. So we know that Ajay is of Karate descent, but that he was raised in the U.S. We know that his mom's dead and he's returning her remains. We know that something is up because there's no record of his Karate citizenship. We know of the Civil War. And we can see right now that the border is fairly corrupt. And those guys to the left, I didn't notice them on my first playthrough, but it's impossible not to notice them once you've played through and know who they are. It's really nicely done. And I gotta say, the little extendable mirror to check underneath for weapons and bombs and smuggled items is a really nice touch. Also, the monkey's awesome. I mean, the monkey's just great. And this is good. You see the helicopter, you hear the helicopter approaching, but you're immediately distracted by the very tense border dispute and what this dude finds under the truck. And you probably don't realize it, but that's our first introduction to the Golden Path right there. And the driver's clearly on their side because boom, boom, boom. And now you hear the helicopter, but it's kind of busy. And the monkey's dead. Darpan's got you covered. Now you can't avoid the helicopter. It's like, oh yes, there's that helicopter.
You don't know.
And then the music kicks in quietly. There was that first guitar riff. And this is Pagan Min. I'm curious what Pagan Min's real name is, because that can't be his real name. Pagan Min is the name of an 1800s era Burmese king.
Remember saying, stop the bus. Yes, stop the bus.
This is a great voice acting performance, guys.
The bus.
Just, yeah, look at this.
I'm very particular with my words. Stop. Shoot. Stop.
And, you know,
shoot.
Whoever's modeling Pagan Min's character model is also brilliant.
Sound same.
That it got out of control.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
It got out of control.
Got out of control.
You feel to buy this.
Get out of control.
Ubisoft actually sold that pen, and I found out about it too late for myself to buy it. But yeah, Pagan Min, the real one, was a Burmese king during the Second Anglo-Burmese War. He was alive for most of the 1800s. He was eventually deposed by his brother, although not killed, which is, you know,
At
lucky
least there's
for
a
him.
silver lining.
And I mean,
You didn't completely fuck it up. Get up, boy.
This is a great moment coming up here because Far Cry employs a persistent first-person POV.
I'm so sorry about this. This was supposed to be... well, not this. We have a party waiting for you, but I don't think I know your name. Who is this? Hmm? Is this your +1? Strong silent type. I like it. I am terribly embarrassed about all of this. This was supposed to be very simple, but you know, if you give food to monkeys, they just throw their shit at each other.
Yes, right here it comes up. I was just saying.
For just a moment, I want to...
Oh, blood on your
Just a
hand.
little.
Symbolic blood on your hand. And this.
Right into the camera. There we are.
That's one of the few times you will see your own face in-game, because unlike
Don't
a lot
worry
of
about a thing, my
other
boy.
first-person shooters,
This will soon be
no
behind us.
cutscene ever
We'll
pulls
be off on a
out
grand
from the
adventure.
first-person
Because
POV
I
in the Far Cry
have
games.
cleared my calendar for you. You and I are gonna tear shit up!
I mean, that's used more effectively in Far Cry 3, which is really a deconstruction of the first-person shooter genre. But Far Cry 4 is more of a reconstruction. That said, the persistent POV is one of the things I really like.
You give my congratulations
Now,
to Ashley on your next visit home.
I've been mentioning several times that because
say, Paul, your little
the name
corner
Pagan
of
Min
Kirati
refers
is
to
not
an
beautiful.
1800s
I
era
expected more.
Burmese king. It can't be
Chains
our
and
pagan's
wailing, but no
real
one
name, and
knew
that's because
somewhere
Pagan
around
Min,
there was a
here,
dark
our
place
Pagan
where
Min,
secrets
is
flowed like
is of
That
Southern
wry
Chinese
smile
and
betrays
British
you again,
descent. He's
Dupont.
from Hong Kong. He's half British,
Well, go on, take the
half
bloody
Hong Kong
bag off his
Chinese.
head.
Highly unlikely that such a person would have
Again, terribly sorry for what happened before. This
a Burmese
is more what I
king's
had
name.
in mind. So, fresh start. Introductions. Ajay Gale, our guest of honor. Paul, our very gracious host. The little monkey, whose name I still don't know. And I, of course, am Pagan Min. You really don't remember me, do you? Your mother, she never spoke of me, never mentioned me. No. We'll change all that. Paul, I need cash.
How much do you need?
All of it. Thank you. Here we go. All right. Like this, with a smile.
This is a great, funny joke.
That's you.
That's me.
That's me. But as you'll later
not so
see if you
sure
haven't played the game, it's not you.
Now, your mother,
I spoke about this. You
on the
said,
other hand,
I'm not so sure anymore.
she understood me. She knew me
Pagan
well,
actually
no
has a
one-
decent character arc here throughout the story, and has had one prior to the beginning of the story as well.
The last time I saw Ishwari was...
And it all relates to Ajay's mother.
She told me she loved me. Women, they can do that. They can tell you they love you in the moment and mean it. Men, on the other hand, no, men only really love you in hindsight. And too much distance is built up. So, when your mother decided to
And
flee to the
that
United
character
States
arc,
with
plus
you
this
on her
performance,
hip, I
that's
couldn't
why I
help but
like
blame
Pagan Min's
myself.
character better than Voss, although I love
realized-
Voss from Far Cry 3.
It's not me. No. It was the fucking Golden Path.
And that's the
Those
second time the Golden
terrorists
Path has been
ruin
mentioned,
everything.
this time called
Like dinner.
terrorists.
Did no one ever teach you that it's rude to text at a table? Let's see it. Hit me. Bum. Really, guys? We're not checking for these anymore? I'm with Ajay Gale. You'll love this part. Help.
If you look around Pagan's chin, you can
text
see his
for help.
facelift. See,
You
look at
don't
the
text for
facelift
help, you
stretch
cry
marks.
for
Right there. Right
Cry
there.
for
Facelift
help.
stretch marks.
You're gonna do something, you're gonna do it right. Here we go.
I love that attention to
Try
detail.
for help. Try for help. Help? Oh, pathetic. No, try for help. Help! You mean it, boy. Help! From your diaphragm! Help! Shh, 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 shh. Now we listen.
I'm gonna add the subtitles. I didn't realize I hadn't got
I'm
them
afraid
turned
they're not
on.
coming for you, buddy. Oh! Find out what he knows. Terrorists, right? Now, please, stay right here. Enjoy the crab rangoon. Don't move. I will be right back. Yuma, we need to talk.
So, the Crab Rangoon, I have to assume is a reference, because Rangoon is the old capital of Burma. Now it's, oh, gods below. How do you pronounce? Naypyidaw? Naypyidaw? Yeah, I'm probably butchering it, and I apologize. But yeah, current capital of Myanmar, former Burma, and Rangoon is the old capital. Oh, and the controls are not inverted. Alright, bear with me guys, I'm gonna have to do some adjusting. So first we need to invert the look. Okay. We'll leave everything else. I'm going to turn down the sensitivity a bit. I recall that being an issue last time I played this. Alright, now we want... subtitles on, so you guys can see that. There we go. How's that feel? That's good. Okay, so there's my control stick. My control. Oh, and there's Darpan. I feel sorry for the poor guy. So yeah, the joke here is that crab rangoon, it's kitschy Chinese food that's like Americanized Chinese, and Pagan Min himself is both Caucasian and Chinese. So there's a reference there. Also, it's crab rangoon, a reference to his name that he clearly swiped off of a Burmese king, with Rangoon being the old capital of Burma, now Myanmar. So there's a definite reference there. And that's, I think, quite funny. When I first played this, I assumed I was going to have to sneak out through this, so I spent a lot of time tagging people. Now, if you'll bear with me here, I'm just going to have to try and learn the controls again, because it's been a little while. Okay, there's the crouch. There we go, okay. One thing I find funny about the Far Cry games is that in order, like for instance right here, boom, I've tagged 2 Assam macaques. Assam, by the way, being a region in northern India. I don't know precisely where. That piece of information I got from watching a German spy's playthrough of Far Cry 4. He constantly apologized for his gameplay, but I found his commentary well worth watching, and it's still one of my favorite Let's Plays of Far Cry 4. So, if you don't mind watching someone who's not an expert at first persons, he is much better at the Soulsborne games. I do strongly recommend watching a German spy's playthrough. Memo: increased Golden Path activity. There has been a recent rise in Golden Path activities in the area surrounding Banipur. We have increased our presence in all southern border stations in response to the intercepted shipments of weapons and supplies presumably destined for the Golden Path. All convoys and patrols should be on high alert for terrorist movements. Sergeant Misra. It's been mentioned by a few people and in a number of things that I've read that the Golden Path's name is likely meant to relate to the Shining Path. Far Cry 4 is based story-wise on, well, the civil war in Nepal, the Maoist insurgency there. Also, of course, on the Kashmir conflict in India-Pakistan area, and also on top of that, it's based upon the obviously the occupation of Tibet. Oh, and there's Ashley. Don't work too hard. Hi, Daddy. I hope you're having a good time in Dubai. Ooh, lies. Mommy said you were out merging 2 banks or something. More lies. But I hope you don't have to work too hard and still have time to do some sightseeing, maybe some shopping. It is my birthday soon. Winky face. Love you, Daddy. Ashley. Okay, so the drawings from Ashley are also part of the same letter. And that would be Paul de Pleur's daughter. He apparently heads out abroad to be, well, you can hear it in the background, to be an international torturer. And tells people that he's a big fancy businessman merging banks and whatnot. So, his real name is Paul Harmon. But you've already heard that he goes by the term de Pleur. deplore, roughly translated, means mourning. But there's also an interesting thing called a nom de pleur. And a nom de pleur is a name of crying or a name of mourning. So, given that he's the torturer, that really makes sense. Okay, Uncle John. Hi, Daddy. Next time you're home, you really need to fix the water heater. I don't know. You know I don't like Uncle John, and Mom has him around all the time, working in the basement while you're away. Water is still cold after 5 minutes in the shower. OMG, he's so lame. Please remember to bring me back something nice. Now, she has her love for Daddy being bought, doesn't she? Let's see what's in the shiny box. And does anyone else get the sense from that particular letter that Paul Harmon, Mr. Deplore, is being cuckolded? I dislike the... well, no, not cuckolded, because that would mean he was being watched. The meaning of the word has changed over the years. I guess it would mean that his wife is cheating on him, which I don't blame her. He's away all the time. Bell Tower broadcasts. It has been brought to our attention that there was a recent attempt to sabotage the broadcast from the bell tower outside Banipur. We will be posting guards at all bell towers until further notice. It's imperative that the message of our great leader is shared with all of Kirat. May pagans light shine upon you all. Ministry of Public Affairs and Social Harmony. So Kirat is actually a real word. It roughly translates as the hill peoples or the hill tribes, if memory serves. Might just be the hill area. But yeah, the idea, the sense that I get from how this is set up, and we'll get into this more when we get to actually Kirat, but the southern chunk of Kirat has a lot of Indian influences. The northern half has a lot of Nepalese influences, and the sense of this that I have is that it's meant like one of those tiny nations like Andorra, which sits between Spain and France in Europe, of all places, believe it or not. I suspect this is supposed to be one of those tiny little nations that sits between two great nations, in this case Nepal and India, just based on how it's been laid out. Is that a reference to Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, you think? Used the fork? Loxley, I'm gonna cut your heart out with a spoon.
I want to make sure that you know exactly what I want.
Oh, fuck.
Now, is he...
Why?
Is he using a metal bed frame? No, that looks like a custom job. They didn't even take off his scarf.
Terrorist, bad guy, and I'm a good guy, which means that I don't really want to hurt you.
So what I like about Paul Harmon here, not as a person, but as a character, is how they juxtapose his cover to his family as like a over-the-top success business consultant with all the buzzwords that go with that, with his role in Pagan's administration as interrogator, terror spreader, torturer, spy master is the sense that I get, and also kidnapper in chief.
Hey, babe. Hey, listen, I'm in a meeting right now. I can't really talk. Yeah, you know, it is stressful times over here. We've got a new client, and I am not sure if he's going to buy it. No, I will call you as soon as it is done.
All right, so let's move this on, shall we?
Ajay Ghale. My name is Sabal. I'm with the Golden Path.
Golden Path?
We're friends. I knew your father. We're here to rescue you.
Note the crown on his jacket.
You are our
We'll get to that later.
We need to get you out of here safely, no matter the cost. Darban would understand. Now stay close.
Like this.
Shit, they know we're here.
The door! Quickly!
Ajay, with these doors open, I need you to keep your head down and make a run for the truck. Move as fast as you can. Understand?
Yeah, I got it.
This sequence is interesting because you won't have your health bar. You seem to still be able to take damage, but I'm not sure if you can die between here and the start of proper gameplay.
Keep your head down!
So you can see, yeah, I'm not going to bother trying to grab any guns because I won't retain them past here, so. Getting through the car, let's heal. And here comes the elephant! Boom! Over goes the tuk-tuk. I'm going to get my gun. It's a scorpion. I hate scorpions, but oh well.
What the hell? There's a gun underneath the dashboard! Use it! Whoa!
Let's reload.
Are we safe?
Probably not.
Probably not. On your right. Shoot! Them!
Fucking hell.
Trying to take the vehicles out.
Watch out!
Not too much more, and again, I'm not even sure I'm not even sure that any of this matters.
Right! Hold on!
That one you can't do. Bang! Boom! That was the narrative railroad there, folks. Now, for those of you who are here, well, the number of you that are here, I can't imagine is very high yet, but hey, that's fine. The whole point of my my broadcasts is the story and myth element. It's funny. The first time I heard this, I thought it was pagan.
Hello? Thank you. This is Sabal. Where are you?
I don't know. Fuck. The driver's dead.
Okay, listen to me. Look around.
And we got our
You should be able
kukri.
to see a tower nearby. I need you to make your way there. I'm on my way to secure it now.
Head to the tower. Okay.
You can do this, Ajay.
Alright, 1 second here, guys. Yeah, that should be fine. I've often played with a lot of the interface indicators off just to see what it's like, but to make it clear for you guys watching, I'm not going to do that because it seems like it would be a pain in the neck. So now we need to spot these guys because we don't have much in the way of kill skills right now.
This has all been just a terrible misunderstanding. Show yourself and we'll sort it all out. Listen, it does not have to be like this. You do not have to hide. The longer you hide, the angrier I'll get. Come out and make things easier on yourself.
Alright, so we got ourselves an AK-47, which, I'll be honest, it's possibly my least favorite of the fancy guns. Well, of the assault. Probably my least favorite of the small arms. But hey, it's what you get at the beginning, right? So, I had mentioned to remember the crown on Sabal's jacket, so let's talk about that while it's here. So the crown on Sabal's jacket is an indication that he's a royalist. Let's move this body. Not likely to be necessary, but he's right there, so I'm just going to move it just out of sight. Okay, apparently my ammo is full, which is nice. That's where I'm supposed to be going, but that guy's over there. We don't want to get caught.
somebody out there? I should check. What if it's a trap? Gods!
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, Sabal is our resident royalist among the leaders of the Golden Path, and the game designers do a pretty good job of showing that to us immediately by giving him a traditional kind of chess king crown as a little pin on his jacket. Also, something to pay attention to throughout the game is how people use Ajay's name. Ajay being raised in America, he goes by AJ Gale himself. However, apparently the proper pronunciation of his name is Ajay Gale. And you can spot the local Kirati calling him by that name. Whereas people who are not of Kirati descent will frequently call him AJ. And I find that interesting. You get a sense, you get a very strong sense of people managing as best they can. So can I get up here? No. Alright, oh. Then we'll go the long way, shall we? Should be passed pretty quick here. There's some cover. Now the danger here is that there's two of them.
Nothing. I know someone is out there.
And although it's not terribly dangerous, I don't have anything that allows me to double. So let's see if I can move just one to the right spot. Ah, perfect. Oh crap.
Who is shooting? Oh no! Surrender! Now!
Not elegant, but it'll do the job. So yeah, watching how they refer to Ajay is rather revealing in game. So what we have here story-wise, if you're looking at the hero's journey, this has been pretty classic, right? You have the call to adventure, which in this case is literally made by the dead person, which I find particularly entertaining. This is obviously here because the game wants us to see it. Boom. Let's skin it. So Ishwari Gale issues the call to adventure by asking Ajay to return her remains to Lakshmana at the beginning of the game. We arrive, and the border crossing to this point is essentially the crossing into the special world. We're inducted in. Ironically, we meet our Obi-Wan, which is also the villain, so you have this wonderful juxtaposition of the Dark Mentor, because Pagan Min is both, you know, Darth Vader and but also Obi-Wan Kenobi for our buddy Ajay. And as a result, you get those great radio interactions where Pagan calls to check on Ajay, and which have some great dialogue. I mean, they are the highlight people obviously loved Voss
Where are you hiding?
in Far Cry 3. One of the key complaints is that Voss is only there for the first third of the for the first half of the game. And also, by the way, yeah, this is an extra skin if you need some extra bait, which is not a bad thing. Also, it gives you an vantage point on those guys. I'm going to use the bear, and you'll see what I mean in a moment if you've not played. But I wanted to get that first. Also, there's a secret in the lake there that we're going to go and get. It's hardly essential, but it'll save us a little bit of money, and early on in the game, saving money is a useful thing. So we will do that. But yeah, two of the key complaints about Far Cry 3 and their villain was that Voss A wasn't there enough, and B that Voss was only there for the first half of the game. People didn't like Hoyt, Voss's boss, Hoyt Volker, I think it was, if memory serves. It was Hoyt, definitely Hoyt. All right. So let's, there we go. I'm still remembering how to use some of these controls, which is irritating. Alright. Let's throw. Crap.
Gunfire. Keep it. Moving. Move faster.
There. There we go. There. Perfect. Because that bear has killed me before, since I have no armor at this point, only 2 health bars, and a, let's call it an insufficient firearm. So letting a bear do your work first, good job assisting the bear, because these guys can occasionally kill him. I have seen it happen. Normally he gets more than one of them, but there will often be 1 or 2 left, and they're not going to be easily able to shoot at you while they're dealing with him. Oh yes, and you get that first grenade. Make sure that we're... I'm still having... It annoys me just how my instincts are still a little bit off now. It used to be so much sharper, but then again, it has been. See that? Right there. Right there. So here we have a health bar. Let's get some air. And we have a gun. Now, obviously that may seem like a ridiculous move, swapping out the 6er for the AK-47. And I'm going to grab the AK-47 back, I want to be clear. We're going to grab one of the dead bodies. Boom. Done. But what I've done there is I have added the 6er to my arsenal, so I don't have to pay for it when I get to Banapur, and I'm able to start buying weapons. The 6er is now there, so if I want a pistol, I have a pistol. Honestly, I probably will never use the 6er, but... yeah. There you go. Now this, I think, is going to be one of the spots where we get... Oh yes, I know where we are now. Yes. This is our pseudo outpost. See, right here. Right, so there's the guy sitting, just basically set up for a takedown. And there's a number of other guys, plus a snow leopard over here. Now we'll get the snow leopard coming in right over here. Yeah, right there. There's another guy behind this tree. I'll do some more tagging in a second. Now, ideally, if you can get the snow leopard out, that's your best move here. because you do not have anything quiet in this at this point. This is kind of your first trial through the threshold, because this will be the first time you have to actually do something substantial. Am I attacking the wrong side? I'm sure it was this side. No, evidently it's not. I am misremembering. No, it was that side. Look at that. Look at that. How many times did I hit that, guys? Alright. Our first treasure chest. Well, not our first, but some throwing knives, which I think I can use to take out the snow leopard's cage. I haven't tried that previously, but I think I may try it this time. It's not as though I can't take these guys if it comes to that. May as well try something new. So, I'm gonna have a quick look, see if I've missed anybody over there. I don't believe so. Alright, so let's try our attempt at stealthing this. We do not have the skills or equipment to stealth this. We have 2 silenced weapons in that we have 2 throwing knives. We have a basic takedown with no drag ability. We have to manually move the bodies afterwards. We have no throwing knife kill. We have no death from above. We have no death from below. We are at this point running on a minimalist system. So this is very much, you know, and there's our tutorial on how to use the camera. Fortunately, not a big deal. Oh, is he coming right at us? So, I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn for a little while, and one of the things in Horizon Zero Dawn is because the tagging on the weapon, the tagging of enemies, is handled by a technological conceit of the game, the focus. And she's literally got a heads-up display. Oh, there's someone right there. Because Aloy, who is the protagonist in that game, has a literal heads-up display. They can show all sorts of things that just would not make sense to show in a game like this, including where the enemies are going to go, because her computer can hack the robots' paths and can literally say, okay, well, they're heading this way and that way. They have a routed track of this, and you can use that to really screw with people. Oh, and there's another guy. How many did I miss? And so missing that is just a little bit... you know, it was nice when I had it, as it were. But we still have unlimited rocks, which Aloy didn't have, so... who doesn't love unlimited rocks? So I mentioned earlier that Far Cry 3 is kind of well, not kind of, it's a brutal deconstruction of the classic first-person shooter. Far Cry 4 is what's known as a reconstruction. They have taken apart the game.
Leopard! Leopard! Shoot the beast! Climbing down. Watch my back.
They have taken apart the game in Far Cry 3.
down. Kill him! Hold on!
Sorry. Killing some people. Now, the leopard is still around here, so let's go get that leopard. Wow, did it just wander off? Seriously, did that leopard just... It did. No, I'm gonna take your hide. Come back here. You know how hard it is to find snow leopard? I've never seen it run from me so consistently. This is crazy. Good grief. Like, did you see that, guys? The thing about, and it's kind of ridiculous, but the thing about the animals in Far Cry is they're generally absolutely psychotically hot for your blood. And those guys, that one absolutely was not. It was much more like how a real snow leopard would react. Person with an automatic weapon, let me get away. Like that's how a wild animal is going to react. Not, I will charge them maniacally. But let's be honest, Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 don't generally play it that way. Far Cry 3 at least had an excuse prepped for it, however flimsy it was, which is that Voss's pirates were engaged in animal trafficking, and you had a bunch of animals that were not where they were supposed to be. They were well outside their natural habitats, and as such were acting abnormally. And on top of that, one of the subtexts to Far Cry 3 is that something about the island makes everybody overly aggressive. Ah, yes. So a reminder, you are here in my employ to bring me strong and healthy animals. My subjects do not come to Shanaf to watch crippled, feeble beasts die mercifully. They come to be entertained, to see blood spilled between equally matched opponents, and to lose their money betting but leave with a smile. Now either provide me with animals worthy of a tournament in Shanaf, or it will be you entertaining the crowds in the arena. Long live King Min, Noor. So this is our first introduction to one of King Min's other, Pagan Min's other lieutenants, the aforementioned Noor. Now, Noor is a woman. Beyond that, though, I mean, you don't even technically know that at this point. With regards to Noor, I think I might have missed a dead body or something, but I'm not too concerned there. With regards to that piece of paper, it's actually quite a good little chunk. You see that A, she's wanting to take the people's money but doesn't want them upset. So there's a certain amount of compassion there, and then she follows it right up with, you know, you're going to fight to the death if you can't provide me with something better. So she does this great sort of bait and switch. I don't recall if there's actually anything in here. Yes, there is. My loot bag is almost full because I have no enhancements at this point, because of course it is. There we go. I'm going to shut up for a second here because we're going to get our first interaction with the Dark Mentor here.
RJ, my boy, are you busy? You don't mind me calling, do you? Fantastic. You really are an excellent listener. Look, no hard feelings about the crab rangoon. I know it's not to everyone's taste. But you'll be pleased to know I had the chef executed for his incompetence. Or was it his family we killed? Regardless, next time I can promise you a better spread. It's the last time I'm kidnapping a fucking TV celebrity chef.
So yeah, you get those throughout the game if you've not played the game already. And they are bloody entertaining. He is by far the most charismatic character in the game. I would have loved to be able to do this silently, but again, I don't have that option at this point. That is literally not an option. If I'm lucky here, I'll be able to take them with the kukri as they try to run past, because currently they're funneled up in there. Yeah, I'm going to spend a little bit of time just here because... There we go. You do it cleanly, you get double skins. Cleanly means a bow, or it means your kukri. I do like Ajay's kukri. Gosh, the thing is, first-person shooters are not meant for melee combat. So there is that. But I like the fact that Ajay's kukri is, it's a kukri, so it's a very traditional weapon. But it's a tactical kukri, so it's clearly a modern build. And once again, that's a pretty good characterization for Ajay, as he's split between these two worlds. He's American in terms of being raised American. He's Kirati by birth. And as you'll discover further on in the game, he's split between the world of Pagan Min and also the Golden Path. And even his potential loyalty to America is brought up. Wow! Did you see that? And so they do a really good job of showing that conflicting loyalty that A, Ajay has, and B, people perceive Ajay to have. Crafting. And look at that, I actually have enough to craft something right off the bat, so we're going to do that. Yeah, see the sandbar. I want that second sandbar skin. Now, let's have a quick look at what I have right now. So I have 6 Baral skins, which is great. I have 1 sandbar, 1 bear, 1 snow leopard. And you know what, let's take a moment to read some of these things, because these things are hilarious. So 3D slide reel from the Ministry of Tourism. This vintage reel has a stereoscopic pictures of the country's natural and architectural wonders. Meh. Plastic tiger, an orange plastic bag child tiger piece covered in bite marks. Looks like someone ignored the choking hazard warning. Bag chow is it's a game. Generally, I believe it's elephants and tigers, and it's an asymmetric game, not unlike chess, but unlike chess, the two sides have different capabilities. And then opium pipe, lacquered pipe, ceramic bowl, silver fittings. Whoever's been using this probably has no idea that it's a rare 19th century artifact. Karate Royals. Pack has none of the usual cancer warnings, just a portrait of Pagan Min and the words "fit for a king" in bold letters. So probably state sponsored. Rice bag, a rice-filled burlap sack from a humanitarian non-governmental organization. Glad to see you're not above stealing food from the poor for fun and profit. Well, that basically is first-person shooter aesthetics in a nutshell. Undershirts, plastic wrap package of men's undershirts bearing a major label of a major sports company and sewn by adorable child laborers. Plastic elephant. The plastic piece comes from a failed attempt by the Davies Trincourt Toy Company to mass-produce bag chow sets for Western children. Again, tiger, elephant, which this game uses the tiger and elephant motif extensively. So I've been meaning to look into the rules for bag chow, but I haven't done it yet. A spork! Hey, wait a second, you're not thinking of selling this, are you? It's a spoon and a fork. Tiny booze. Small bottle of liquor, the kind found on airplanes and in hotel minibars. Drinking too many of these may produce a tiny hangover. A pager. Completely obsolete, popular in the 90s, with doctors, drug dealers, and lonely housewives. Condom. Smuggled into Newer's brothels by the Golden Path and given to the Royal Army by the prostitutes. Kind of ironic, isn't it? And I suppose, yeah. This is important. Mom's note. Ajay, my son, I have so much left to tell you. There's so much left to say to you, but I'm out of time, so please take me back to Lakshmana. The journey will tell you more than I ever could. I love you and will always be with you, Mom. Cocktail napkin from a business. So this, you'll notice, it actually says recommended use, keep. You are able to sell it. I never have. I don't know if there's any consequence to selling it, but recommended use, keep. The journey will tell you so much more than I ever could. Is probably the best piece of information provided by it. When I watched Franz, that's a German spy, do his playthrough, the first thing he noted is that Lakshmana is one of the wives of Vishnu, which I didn't know. One of the main failings of kind of broad overviews of mythology is they tend to skimp on details about the female side of the divinity because, well, European white men were writing the stories. Not writing the originals, but writing them down when they talk to people, and that's mostly what we have. Alright, so cocktail napkin from a business class flight. Scribbled in the lower corner is a phone number of a stewardess, which she sealed with a red lipstick kiss. Oh, here we go. Signed 8x10, glossy headshot of Dr. Phil Fletcher from one of his self-empowerment seminars in Las Vegas. It reads, Paul, be the best you, Dr. Phil. Heroin ration. 5 milligrams of pure heroin in a white package, stamped with the seal of the Royal Army, issued as a form of supplementary payment. Just in case you weren't 100% sure that Kyrat is currently a drug state. And while we're doing this, so we have the foreword from Pagan Min's Kyrat. My loyal subjects, it brings me great pleasure to share with you another edition of Kyrat's #1 bestseller, King Min's Kyrat, the official guide. With each passing year, my admiration for our great nation swells, and I thank each and every one of you for your sworn loyalty to the crown. It is this tireless dedication that keeps Kyrat peaceful and a prosperous nation. So we've got Ajay. This is the only place other than that first photo that you can easily see your face in-game. Son of Kyrat, who has lived in the West long enough to lose his sense of self, our benevolent King Min himself seeks to educate this young man in the ways of his homeland and nurture him into a valued Kyrati citizen. Darpan. Behold the face of a terrorist. Darpan was one of the original members of the Golden Path insurgency and has devoted much of his life to befouling the vision of Pagan Min has for our beloved Kyrat. Now Darpan has a very Indian feel to him in his dress, in his actions, in the whole feel of this, which again, the idea of Kyrat straddling northern India and southern Nepal is reinforced by Darpan's appearance and his presence, or at least his ghostly presence. Now I love that they still don't show us an image here of Ishwari. A true victim, Ishwari Ghale was seduced by the wicked Mohan Ghale. Our beloved leader himself sought to save her from Mohan's grasp. Sadly, she fled to the United States rather than embrace Pagan Min's benevolence. We will learn a lot more about the backstory through various things. This is very much Pagan Min's view of it, obviously. Mohan Ghale. The Ministry of Social Harmony has deemed Mohan Ghale an official agitator of the peace. Ghale founded the treacherous Golden Path and actively sought to assassinate our beloved leader Pagan Min. Pagan Min. I love that they use the blood-spattered image. Presumably that's not in the book. Our great and glorious king who has risked life and limb to bring Kyrat out of the past. He sacrifices everything for his adoptive homeland and loves his people like his own children. May Pagan's light shine upon you all. Paul de Pleur Harmon. Inspired by the plight of Kyrat, Governor Harmon fell in love with our people and customs. He has abandoned his American homeland to spend time here, wanting nothing more than to find peace in the South through brave negotiations with Golden Path terrorists. And the Golden Path. Treacherous sons and daughters of Kyrat who call themselves proud citizens even as they take up arms against the king, and force their fellow citizens to join their pathetic rebellion. They are terrorists and enemies of the crown. The irony is that it was founded by a monarchist, by a royalist. So we don't have any places marked yet, and we have a couple of creatures. We have the Baral. The Baral started migrating north into the King's Bridge, over King's Bridge, when King Min first blessed Kyrat with his guidance. They prefer the sweeter grass in the north to the rotting vegetation in the south. They are, of course, some form of sheep or goat. I've forgotten which. Sambar are a type of deer and even-toed ungulate. So the Ministry of Animal Control declared the sambar a large vermin and encourages the slaughter of these animals. The flesh of sambar is unhealthy and unwholesome because it rubs itself in its own urine-soaked soil. The snow leopard is among the most regal and elegant of all cats. Its image is so glorious that it rivals that of our beloved King Min. Therefore, should one cross your path, you should shoot the snow leopard on sight. Snow leopards are one of the most endangered species on the planet, and they're freaking amazing, and it drives me up the wall that I'm shooting them in this game. But, I mean, it's a game, so there you go. The white-chested bear. Within the year, all white-chested bears will be painted pink to honor our great king and fearless leader, Pagan Min. The white-chested bear is another indication that there's some overlap here with India. So, there we go. I don't have any of the lost letters, and I don't have any of Mohan Gale's journals. That's enough for the moment. I don't want to bore us all to tears. But I love the collectibles, so I'm gonna be reading out a bunch of it. What I like here is that there's two options. You can do this side, walk along and jump, or you can do this side, which with the climb. And in either case, you're getting used to how the game's mechanics for overcoming terrain are. Now, we don't yet have the grappling hook, but this, again, introduces us to a new piece of mechanic, because this is, of course, the tutorial. This game does a pretty good job of getting us used to each element of the game as it goes. This was not in Far Cry 3, so this was something new to learn. Oh, my battery's low. That's okay, I'm almost done here, so we should be good.
You made it all the way here on your own. Sabal is waiting for you near the tower.
I also love the fact that she's dressed exactly the same as the regular male Golden Path, which in Far Cry 3 there were only male resistance fighters. So the fact that there's an even number, and there are actually an even number of male and female, and they have the same roles, is really nice. Now this is great. I love this. You didn't get anywhere near the motion of the trees or the flags in Far Cry 4 for the PS3. And this basically is why I'm replaying it, because I wanted to have a look at this in this version. And I swear they've cranked up the graphics for this section right now. It's probably a much smaller submap, so that they can crank things up as high as they want. But this is a great moment. Also, you're going to find these graffiti bits throughout the game. So far we've only seen the one that was a snow leopard. Now we've got this one, which that's Sabal, and you're going to see them throughout there. And now at this point, we're going to have our final sort of battle to put an end to the prologue, and I'm just going to prep for it. As soon as you talk to Sabal,
Ajay, you made it. Good job, son of Mohan.
Why are you guys helping me?
You're the son of Mohan Gali. You may not know it, but that name carries a lot of weight in Kyrat. Especially for the Golden Bar.
Are those army guys still looking for me?
Pagan Min will stop at nothing to get you back. Damn. Some of Pagan's men managed to track us. They'll be here any second. We're in for a fight.
now, my general... Oh, yeah, let's grab all of those. Oh, nice shot. Oh, crap. Okay, I need some ammo.
Avalanche! Take cover!
Well, the avalanche doesn't actually do anything, so...
Avalanche!
There we go, got that. Yeah, the avalanche, as soon as you get to the avalanche, that's the end of the section, so we're in good shape there. And so that was our... Essentially, the prologue was our entry into the special world. We've had our call to adventure, and now we are irrevocably in Karat. We have no way out because we didn't enter out legally. I'm not even sure if we have our passport.
You're a tough man to kill, brother.
That's a good thing, right?
You notice the rosary on Sabal's right wrist. That foreshadows some stuff. Sabal being the traditionalist of the... oh, this is nice. Being able to replay any outpost you've liberated is a big improvement from Far Cry 3, where you had to liberate them all and then reset them, which you could only reset them once you'd actually finished the game. So that makes it much more replayable, and that's arguably why, despite the fact that I like the story of Far Cry 3 better, I've played Far Cry 4 a lot more.
How did you know to find me?
He saw Bacon's chopper nearby. He's never down this far south, and I wanted to know why. Lucky for you, we were in the area when we got Darpan's text. Well, we're here. Welcome to Banapur, home of the Golden Path.
Who's this? Where's Darpan?
He didn't make it. This is Ajay Gale, Mohan's son.
Let me understand. Darpan's dead? Hmm? And you brought me this?
I'm not involved in whatever this is. I'm just looking for Lakshmana.
We're in the middle of a fucking war. We don't have time for tourists.
What was I supposed to do? Just leave him there? I'm sorry, brother. Amita's a little touchy. I'll talk to her. As for Lakshmana, it sounds like it could be a temple or shrine. But if that's the case, it's in the north. The north is enemy territory, and we can't get you there, not yet. Go and clear your head. Come find me when you're ready. Hmm?
So just a quick little bit here. Just some bits and pieces before I save. So, Darpan, his name means inducing pride. Sabal's name means with strength. And Amita, her name, by the way, is of Indian origin, and it means infinite and boundless in Sanskrit. It also, interestingly, means a truth in Hebrew, but since this is Indian, I suspect the Sanskrit is the better option there. So, infinite and boundless, which I suspect points out Amita is the pragmatic one who knows no limits. She doesn't hold back. So we're going to go and find ourselves the save point and our first journal entry. And more Assam macaques.
The Golden Path leaders. The two-headed elephant pulling an
I love the color of the Far Cry games. It's one of the things A lot of people have talked about Far Cry 2 being the best of the Far Cry games, and I couldn't get into it because it was so monochrome. It was the classic military gray shooter. So let's take a look at that first of the entries. Baishak 1981. Ishwari and I were married today. The ceremony was small, just her parents and mine. The village elders still believe it is bad fortune to marry a Tarun Matara, but I don't see it that way. She is charming and intelligent. Our marriage was arranged when we were children, years before her selection as Kira's vessel, and her dowry was paid by the temple. Money enough to set up a house, maybe even buy a rice cooker. And my transfer to the Royal Guards has been approved, so I'll need new uniforms. Mohan Gale. So there's a number of things packed in there story-wise. Tarun Matara as Kira's vessel, and a reference to the temple and the elders. We'll get more on that later, so I'm not going to sort of skip ahead of the story, but just pay attention to it. So what's interesting here is Mohan actually broke with tradition by marrying Ishwari. They were an arranged marriage, but clearly they fell in love, at least to a certain extent, because they decided to go ahead with it even after Ishwari's selection as the Tarun Matara would have freed them of the arranged marriage. So, interesting little bit of compromise right there. Now let's have a look at the skills. Now, I am a huge fan of the tiger side of skills. However, I just want to take a quick look and see if there's anything. I don't need that yet. That's really nice. I really like the idea of being able to buy explosive arrows and fire arrows. We're going to get the bow really quickly, so being able to buy fire explosive arrows, especially for one of the first big missions, could be really useful. On the other hand, the knife throw takedown is probably my favorite move. So I can't afford that one yet. It costs 2. You know what? I think I'm going to take this one. Oh, it's 2 as well. I am out of touch. Yeah, see, neither of those have a huge impact. No, we'll do this. The harvester is tremendously useful early on. Yeah, these 2 are going to be my first 2. Start with Gadget Trainer, and then I'll get Harvester. Because having the camera show collectibles will make it much easier for you guys to watch. So that's that. And now, before we call this done... Oh, there was money on that table. Alright, let's read this. Communal safe houses. Remember that the safe houses are shared communal spaces for all Golden Path members. It's important you leave each safe house in a clean and tidy state for the next soldiers. We all need to pitch in and help. Above all else, if you take anything from the trading post, you must leave money to cover the items. Longinus helps us with the supplies, but we still need to pay him. We are not a charity, and supplies are scarce. Sabal. So let's do some trading. So we've unlocked a couple weapons. Now, at this point, I only have 1 weapon slot. And until I get some wolf skins, I won't get my second, so I'll need to do the mission with Amida first. So first, though, let's sell. Now you can quick sell everything that you can't craft with, which is square, so I'm just going to do that. Boom. And because we're looking at a fairly devalued currency, 127,939 karate rupees is not the biggest thing you've ever seen. So, let's have a quick look. These are refillables. I don't necessarily want to buy any of these right now because money is at a premium here. So what do we have unlocked? So we have the sorry, I called it the Sixer. The Sixer is actually one of the signature weapons. The Sixer is the fancy version of the Mark IV. And honestly, it's kind of rubbish, but as you can see, I already own it. Curious about the exclamation point on that one right there. We're going to get the Scorpion shortly, so there's no worries about that. This is a better pistol, but I'll be honest, I'm not likely to use either one. So if I was going to take one, I'd take the Mark IV anyway, so I'm not going to buy that. Unlocked, we have... Let's see. See, that's nice. But I'm certainly not going to buy it, because that's the M133 shotgun is the default shotgun used by Pagan Min's soldiers if they're not using an AK-47. So I will pick one of those off of a dead body pretty quick. So I'm not paying for that. There will be somebody with this, the SVD. It is the first sniper rifle that you can get a hold of. It's not a great sniper rifle. You can't add a silencer to it, but it is semi-auto, so it is nicer than it might otherwise be. The Stig 90 is apparently a Swiss model of an old German assault rifle. I don't like it. It's not something I'm a fan of. So there's not a whole lot here that makes me think, ooh, I want that, except for the recurve bow. The RPG-7, I can't afford it. Golden Path members will have it, and if one of them gets killed, I might be able to loot it. So I will hold off initially, but I will want it eventually, especially before the Battle for Banipur. But this is what I'm going to get right now, because you'll get the Hunter's Bow free from Amita, and this is twice as powerful in terms of damage, and I want this. Period. Because I'm going to be doing hunting, and I probably will not... I might do the hunting on screen. It'll make it easier to do commentary, obviously. Now, I want the scope, but I'm not going to prioritize the scope just yet. Oh, and all the maps are unlocked. What I'm going to prioritize now is refilling my ammo. Alright. And the game, because it tends to run a little behind me, I for some reason I seem to open up the menu and update my skills before the game reminds me that I've got skills. So as you can see, there's actually no skills here despite the game giving us that prompt. Don't know how that works, but hey. It's a weird life. Now, a little bit of reference before I shut it down. You can see the S and the A showing on the screen there. Those are missions for Amita and Sabal, respectively. You can do them in either order. I'm going to do Amita's first because it'll enable me to get more slots in my weapons. You know what? I'm just going to keep playing. Forget stopping here. Now, Amita's going to give me the Hunter Bow, so I'm going to have to go back and replace it before I get there. But,
There is new blood in the Golden Path. This is why we will prevail. We are leaving the mistakes of the past behind.
So here we go.
Sabal says I shouldn't be doing this.
I am teaching you to protect yourself. Ah, the tourist. I'm Amita. This is Bhadra.
Hi.
Keep working. Look, I overreacted back there. We're at war. We keep losing soldiers. The work keeps piling up.
Is there anything I can do? I'm not a soldier, but I want to help.
Okay.
Notice Bhadra in the background here.
There's a farm not far from
She's
here.
going to ruin that bow, by the way,
The
dry
nun runs
firing
it, but she's old and she could use your help with some wild animals. I need you to keep the hides intact, so use this. Bhadra. What are you... Pick it up. Try again. Very good.
So just as a side, Bhadra's name means blessed, prosperous, or fortunate, which that should tell you something right off the bat. Oh, yeah, there you go. Because I got that skill, you can see the purple leaves are showing on the map in the bottom left corner. Look at the top, look almost due north there. You can see the little white marker for north. I'm going to turn it to the right here. Yeah, there's the purple leaves. Yes, yes,
My
I see the
husband
monkeys.
loves to sew.
Oh, and there's Badra's
He makes clothes for the
graffiti.
whole family. Now he makes uniforms for the Golden Path.
So we're going to just pop back. Yeah, the smoke and the moving leaves. It is substantially more beautiful on PS4 than on PS3. And here's the thing, I love the PS3 version. I thought it looked amazing. I remember being just taken aback when I first started playing on the PS3 at how good it looked. I mean, that said, I skipped a couple generations. But PS4, we've hit a point where I feel no need to push the graphics forward at all anymore. This is amazing. I feel completely immersed, and I am happy to get lost in these worlds. We have dynamic lighting and shadows. We have fluttering prayers. By the way, for those not aware, the little square flags you see everywhere, these are traditional prayer flags. They're found in Tibet, Nepal, northern India, I think also in Bhutan. They're basically a Himalayan-esque sort of thing. I believe they relate to both Tibetan Buddhism, but also I believe they relate to the previous tribal Bon religion. But don't take my word for that. That's I'm working a little bit off a little bit less information there. So now what we're getting is the early trials. This is where the young hero has to prove their mettle, earn their skills. This is kind of the introduction to their new world. And this is very, very common in the hero's journey. Harry Potter does it really well because, of course, with a school and a class-based, a system of classes, like actual school courses, you've got a pile of ways that you can get kids to test themselves. Alright. Now when I talk to Kanan right there, the story will start.
Fuck.
Okay, so I don't need any of that, which is good. I'm not sure how much of this I actually need. Yeah, I've got a very small quiver at this point. So I may stock up after the fact. My friend Mahabir, I know that it is a lot to ask you to join with us in this fight, but after Pegamin's betrayal, we need to take a stand. No longer will Kirat allow outsiders to dictate her future. I do not know what the gods intend for us now that Pagan has divided Kirat, but I know our resistance is the only option. My most heartfelt thanks to you both and Kanan for your continued support. Mohan Gale, August 1987. So the other thing is that this has been going on a long time. I mean, I'm playing this in 2017. I forgot when the game came out, but we're talking some 30 years plus.
Amita sent me over. She said you might have some kind of wild animal problem. Hey, Amita, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here.
Wolves are a common nuisance for Kanan's farm. She's killed off a number of them, but this year they're especially aggressive, and I'm worried about her. There's a den nearby. Clear it out, huh? I think Kanan has supplies stockpiled somewhere on her farm that you can use. And Ajay, skin your kills. We can always use the pelts.
It annoys me that I can't skin this. Now, my understanding is that that is literally just an audio cue. That's not actually indicative of where the wolves are. Kanan's name, by the way, means forest in Sanskrit. I'm going to try something here. One of the odd things about this game is that animals don't enter into your checklist unless you kill them. But you can also recover your arrows compared to other weapons, so that makes it easier to go with the lower ammunition. That wolf is, of course, the prequel, if you will. Now, you need 4 pelts to get the next piece. And as long as you're getting them with the arrows, you're getting double. Now they want us to go to the Overlook here, which you can skip this. This particular checkpoint, totally skippable. The game will not punish you for skipping it. But since tagging the wolves, since you're working with just a bow and no other weapon at this point, tagging the wolves is recommended, because there's quite a few of them. And there's generally one more in there in the den. Now you'll notice there's a couple dead items there that you can skin, which is nice. A wolf will die with 1 shot from the recurve bow, but it will take 2 from the hunter's bow, and more if you're not doing it right. Ideally what you want is a better angle on them and better train. There is, again, a slight overlook, and I recommend that. A German spy, Franz, commented that this game feels like a better hunting game than all of those Cabela games, and I would tend to agree. I have spent quite a lot of time in both Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 just hunting. I mean, you need to a certain extent, to get your gear, and especially since you can't guarantee things to be where you expect them to be, it is useful, but let me see. Can you draw? Ah, you can. I wasn't sure if that only worked on humans. They're coming for me. What am I hitting? I gotta wonder what my arrows were bouncing off there. I mean, it looked like they were hitting that little sapling. Maybe a rise in the ground? Well, not a big deal. Certainly surprising, though. So now let's see what we can loot before we get that final wolf. There will be a wolf in the cave. Huh. And in case you've lost your bow for some reason. Actually, the game is pretty good about that early on, providing you with backup. Alright, so let's do some crafting here, shall we? I only needed 3. Misremembered again. The other nice thing is when you do the auto sell is if you don't need the hides for anything later on, the game will auto sell unneeded hides as well. which is another really nice improvement from Far Cry 3. In terms of how this game goes about doing its thing mechanically, it is vastly superior to Far Cry 3. They tested a lot of the new ideas in Far Cry Blood Dragon, which is a fun game, but some of the design elements made it problematic to play, and the replayability is not high in my opinion. I enjoyed playing Blood Dragon. I have not replayed it after playing it the first time, whereas I have replayed Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 numerous times. Now, that's how you blow up the den, but there he is. Weirdly, nobody ever notices your light in Far Cry. I don't know why, but there you go. Initiations, interestingly, often involve an innermost cave, so I find that to be weirdly appropriate. Let's search this guy. The alcohol bottle is interesting. Did this guy actually... Oh no, it's a Molotov. That's why. Now I just filled up my ammo, so I have full Molotovs, so that's not an issue, unless I don't have anything. Oh! Crafted a better quiver. Very nice. Yeah, I still need more for the loot bag. That's annoying. But for the moment, we're doing well. Alright, so now... when we blow up the... as a side note, when you blow up the cave, there will be another wolf or two that will appear as you leave. I don't leave via the ATV, despite them providing one. Not my style. I don't like the ATV. In fact, I kind of hate it. Alright, now we've hit our checkpoint. So now we watch for the remaining wolves. This, I suspect... Yeah, see, there he is. Walking on scene. This, I suspect, is the catch you thinking that when you're not thinking about what's going on point. Which is clever. It's like the cat jump scare in horror movies. Somebody hears a noise, goes to investigate, sees a cat, the tension releases just a little bit, and then you get the jump scare. Oh, and I am now at full. Yeah, and unfortunately, although I still need wolf skins for something, I don't need it for any of the first moves. Now there is another wolf. I'm going to walk at regular speed for the moment, because I don't want to make it too slow, but we're going to keep an eye out for that wolf. So this is Amita's first mission. This is where you get to see Amita, you know, slightly happier than when you first met her. And then you'll get Sabal's first mission, and once you finish both of them, you'll be invited to meet the weapons dealer and open up another... There it is. I thought, right? No, I thought that was... That's light and shadow moving on a rock. Thought that was the wolf, but it was not. But I am fairly sure that there was a second wolf. Again, I've been misremembering slightly all morning here, so it's entirely possible that I've misremembered again. And it looks like I did. It looks like it was just the one wolf. I thought it was two. I wonder if there's maybe a second wolf on Ah. Worth a shot. Wonder if on hard there's a separate wolf. I suppose that might be it, but I suspect I'm just misremembering. So now we get some good cultural stuff.
Hey. Badra, how are you?
Good.
I, brought you these pelts. I thought maybe you could use them.
It's a good Ajay. But you keep them. She has enough for her Tanka paintings.
I'm sorry, Tanka what?
This one is about the life of a guru. This one is about the demon Yalung. This one is about the goddess Kira. And that one is about Badra, the next Tarun Matara. The Tarun Matara is a living goddess, if you believe Sabal. It's no life for a child, being treated as an object, thing. Thanks for your help. Later, I'll show you how to put those to good use.
So Tonkas are interesting. They are religious paintings. They're typically painted on cloth, normally cotton or silk. I am amused to notice that they are using hides here. You've got some interesting stuff here. You've got a guru, which is a tradition more excuse me, 1 second here. Covered my microphone for that. But the term guru is generally more associated with the Sikh religion. So I'm curious what that means. Then we have Kira, the goddess, who is the daughter of the god that created the universe, and she purified it in some manner. I'd have to reacquaint myself with the mythology of Kirat, but the Tirumatara is essentially an avatar of Kira, kind of a reverse Vishnu Krishna relationship. And then the demon Yalung is kind of a devil figure, I suspect based on the idea of the Asuras from Buddhism. The art's, they've got the art quite close. It's really well done. I'm going to go back underneath the in that hidden opening here now. Where am I? Oh no, further down. Yes, here we go. Now you may have noticed I turned down the sensitivity on the look sensitivity. The reason for that is I find that otherwise it's really twitchy. Alright, so it's only up to 15, but hey, it's still an improvement. And it's an extra 5 arrows I don't have to buy. Now at this point, I could fast travel. Oh, that's annoying. Wow, that's annoying. Bear with me a second here, guys. Where is that? Now, okay, it's still a button. Perfect. But now I can't accidentally swap weapons, because that's not something I want to be doing. Okay, so now I have the stuff that you kind of really need at the beginning. Now again, I could walk back. And this is the Sherpa. We should talk to him.
Hello, hello. What can I help you?
So first, let's sell old money, a mix of coins and banknotes bearing the face of the previous monarch, completely worthless now that Pagan's in power. Plastic elephant. Ah, yes. You know, I'm just going to sell this for them. I don't want to read all of them. That gets a little bit crazy. So I think I'm actually going to call it here. This seems like a good point to end it. So I'm going to save and call it a day. So I will see you guys next time. Cheers.